who the hell is Tomiyasu? Well, I'm here to tell you who Tomiyasu is. He's a 22-year-old right back slash centre back who plays for Bologna and Japan. He started out his career with Afispa Fukuoka in Japan. He nearly got a move to Barcelona then. However, when that fell through, he ended up at Saint-Truidens in Belgium, who are now in the top division. And in 2019, he joined Bologna for a reported €9 million. Now, he initially started playing as a right back for Bologna. He had a decent time there, but it simply wasn't his natural position. So in 2020, last year, when Bologna signed a new right back, it allowed him to go into his more natural position, where he began the season playing centre back, but it eventually ended up kind of being I don't want to say a utility player, because that sounds like he's kind of the one stepping in for the first teamers, but I'd say maybe similar to Cesare Spilicueta at Chelsea, where that he was just one of the best defenders in there and he could play in any position. So he was moved along to wherever he was most needed. And he made 31 league appearances last season, 16 in centre back, 13 at right back, and 2 at left back. So he was able to shift out to the left as well. One thing that actually did impress me with this is when he joined Bologna, he's quoted as saying, "The first impression is that the defensive tactics are detailed. I chose this team because I wanted to learn individual defense tactics." So like I said, like it says there beside me, he's willing to learn. He wants to improve his game both on an individual level and within the team defensive tactics, something he's very interested in, which I think there's a few right backs in our team that we couldn't exactly say that about. So a bit of a positive swing in that one there. His strengths include, similar to Jules Koundé, he's very good in the air, averaging 2.9 aerials, 1 per 90 in the Serie A last season. He's good on the ball, good progressive dribbler. He stays concentrated. He's good at making blocks and ball interceptions as well, averaging 1.7 per 90. And another stat that wasn't really, I was looking at who scored in the strengths that they'd listed. Tackling wasn't mentioned, but he's averaged 1.5 tackles per 90 in the Serie A last season, which is more than I think Jules Koundé's 0.9 per game in the La Liga last season. His biggest weakness, which would be a concern if he's going to play at right back, as there was a comment there a second ago saying that he'd, as Yassine says, I think he'd be a replacement for Serge Aurier. It's very possible that he would be. You know, we're looking at other targets like Max Aarons and Tarek Lamptey, but the cheaper option, could Spurs go for it? Wouldn't surprise anybody. His biggest weakness is crossing. Now, he averaged only 0.2 crosses per 90 in the Serie A last season. However, I do think that stat is really skewed by the fact that he played half of his games in central defence and never really would have been in a position to put in crosses. So I wasn't able to find an exact stat on how many crosses he put in when playing in wing back, but the fact that it's outlined as a weakness, I think, is a bit of a concern there, and it kind of feeds into one of the right backs we've seen play for us this season in Japhet Tanganga, who is an extremely talented footballer and one that I think is the future of Tottenham's defence. But I don't really think he's a right back because of that. You know, having done the majority of his development as a centre back, there's always going to be that the kind of difficulty in becoming the right back who will pick up 9-10 assists every season, and kind of being, I suppose you could say, what Matt Doherty was in his time at Wolves. But a promising player there. My other concern would be, is he a plan B for Jules Koundé? As much as he could be a plan B for Aarons or Lamptey in a centre back position as well, is he a plan B for a player that maybe the board are already accepting it's just too expensive for us? And have we already been priced out in that Koundé deal? Who knows? But definitely 2 deals there to keep an eye on. If I had to pick one of those, which is more reliable, I would definitely say Takehiro Tomiyasu. And it's not a deal that I can sit here and turn down, because I feel a lot of fans, when there's a player they haven't heard of potentially being linked to their club, the immediate reaction is, well, I haven't heard of him, so why would I want him? I'm kind of the opposite. I don't want to have too strong an opinion on the transfer because I don't know enough about him, and I can look at these stats and I can pick out the good things and I can pick out the bad things, but ultimately I, the same as all of you, won't know enough about him to make a proper decision until we watch him play. So I don't want to say too much on that one in terms of whether I want it or not, but you know, if we're in a case of trusting the board, I'd like to get it done, but I'm not too sure Spurs fans are there at the moment. Jordan, Mark and Daniel, thank you very much for subscribing.